It's Tuesday, which could mean only one thing. It's time to talk about the Linux news of the week here on the Lunduke Show. Brought to you in part by the fine, freedom-loving, penguiny nerds over at Pogo Linux. You can find out more at pogolinux.com. You can find servers like this, the 2U Iris 2492, which is 4 servers in a single 2U enclosure, which is just pure awesome. And what's really cool is you can configure each individual server within that 2U enclosure completely differently. 4 different nodes, different memory, different CPU, throw a little dual Xeon over here, little dual Xeon over there. It's absolutely fantastic. And of course, you can pick which operating system you want on each node. This is how Pogo Linux works. You find a server you want, you configure it, and you tell them what Linux distribution you want on it. They have a whole drop-down list to choose from: Debian, Secure Linux, Ubuntu, Fedora, OpenSUSE, a whole bunch of different ones, and you get to choose. What's really cool about this particular server is you get 4 compute nodes. So it's 4 basically different servers inside a single server enclosure, and you can pick a different Linux operating system for each one. Literally, you can put Debian on one of them, and Red Hat on another one, and whatever you want. It's fantastic. Find out more over at pogolinux.com. All right, today, before we get into the news too deep, I should point out, I would be remiss if I did not point out that the call for submissions for those who would like to speak at a couple of conferences is going to be closing tomorrow, January 31st. So Wednesday, January 31st, the call for papers closes for Linux Fest Northwest, the 2018, which takes place in April, and OSCON, the open source convention put on by O'Reilly, which takes place in July. I will definitely be at Linux Fest Northwest. It is one of my favorite conferences, possibly my favorite conference, period. It is fantastic. It is casual, yet not casual. Like it's awesome because it's, when you go there, it's not just a couple people, but it feels like it could be just a couple people. It's the weirdest thing. There are 2,000 plus people that descend upon Linux Fest Northwest every year, and it's free to attend. You just show up at Bellingham, Washington, and go to the conference. You can do whatever you want. It's fantastic, but yet it's so casual. They have a friggin' garage sale there. They have raffles there. They do things like you would expect a little tiny conference to do, because it's just so laid back and relaxed and goofy. But yet it's 2,000 plus people with booths from massive corporations. You know, like you go there and any given year, you'll find people from Google or Amazon or Microsoft or Pogo Linux or System 76. You'll find sponsors of this show, big mega corporations there, and yet it's still casual. It's still relaxed. I love that conference so much. Anyway, so I will definitely be there. I will be speaking there. I will be putting on, I think, 5 different shows at Linux Fest Northwest that Saturday. You got to be there for that one. It's going to be crazy. OSCON, I'm not sure if I'll be speaking at OSCON or not. I have made a submission proposal to the OSCON chairs. We'll see if they accept it. I'm hoping they do. They had a track on software development methodologies. And I saw that, and I'm like, you know, I would like to do a presentation there entitled "Your Favorite Software Development Methodology Sucks." Simple, right? Like I would just like to simply troll their entire audience, if that would be possible. So I've submitted that. We'll see if they agree. But if you would like to be presenting at any of those with me, feel free to head on over to the websites, but do so before the end of the day on January 31st. Otherwise, option is gone. All right, the news for the day. Oh, I found the coolest command line tool. So this really only helps people if they use Google Play Music. However, someone created in Python a command line terminal-based Google Play Music player called Clay, and it works really, really well. I was totally blown away by this. I don't use too many like streaming services or the like anymore. I used to use Google Play a bit, but I tried this one out because I put my podcast up on Google Play, and I was kind of playing around with it as a radio station recently to see if I liked it, and I kind of decided nah, but I tried this out. It is awesome. There's the URL. If you go look on github.com, search for Klei for Google Play Music, you'll find it really quickly, or just type in the URL on the screen there. And it is absolutely fantastic. The installation was a little weird. You install it through pip, which is the little Python installation program, and it installs. It has a couple of dependencies, but if you go to that GitHub page, it'll list out the ones you need to install, and it's pretty straightforward. But it works really well. It works with radio stations. It works with streaming things from your playlist. You can add things to your playlist. Everything plays back. You can, while it's playing back, and it has a little status on the bottom of the screen, you can still search and look for other music to play back, and it does really well, and it uses very few system resources. I was mega impressed with this. So if you use Google Play Music and are looking to get away from having the web page open all the time or some stupid Electron app up, and you'd like something that was a little faster in your terminal, give Klei a check out. That was pretty cool looking. Anyway, I just found that, and I was like, that's cool. I got to tell people about that. Okay, Godot, the open source game engine version 3.0 just came out, and this is actually quite cool. Godot is very, very cool. It adds in 3.0 a new rendering engine with physics-based rendering workflow for 3D, improved asset pipeline, some new C# support, a new physics engine. Very, very cool stuff. But apparently it had underwent a whole lot of massive rewrites for the 3.0 version. I believe that the last big release was like a year and a half ago or something like that. Anyway, it looks glorious. This is for those watching the video version, this is what Godot looks like. It's really quite profoundly impressive. It's basically, you know, your full development suite with animation tools and everything else for doing both 2D and 3D games with scripting and just about everything you could possibly want in a single package. It's very impressive, and it's very cool that it's all open source. I believe it's under the MIT license, so you can kind of do whatever you want with it, which is really wicked slick. Anyway, congratulations to the Godot developers, and thanks for putting something out there open source that, well, is kind of professional grade game development SDKs and the like. That's just very cool to have for all of us. Also, big new release tomorrow, January 31st, LibreOffice 6.0 comes out. Not a point release, a big old friction. That doesn't even make sense. Big old Fargan, not a point release, big version number release. 6.0 comes out. Man, speaking is hard. New in this version, you can export to EPUB 3. You can import from PageMaker, Publisher. You can apply new table styles. By the way, the new table styles in LibreOffice 6.0, I failed to grab a screenshot, which was an absolute mistake of mine, but they look fantastic. They look absolutely fantastic. Also, LibreOffice in 6.0 is going to be using the Elementary icons, which is cool. Elementary does some great icons. So, which means I'm guessing LibreOffice 6.0 probably will look fantastic in Elementary OS, if nothing else, because then the icons will match. That's pretty cool. So anyway, look for that tomorrow, January 31st. I'll be grabbing that right away. Just I spend so much time in LibreOffice. I need my LibreOffice. I can't do without my LibreOffice. So congratulations to the LibreOffice guys on all that hard work. Oh, let's take a detour for a second, away from just pure Linuxy news. Let's talk about the dad of the founder of Linux. Linus Torvalds, his dad is in Finland, and his dad is named Nils Torvalds. And Nils is a member of the Swedish Democratic Party in Finland. I believe I have this correct. And yes, in Finland. And the Swedish Democratic Party, and I could be wrong on some of this because I am neither a Swedish citizen nor a Finnish citizen, but a lot of the purpose of the Swedish Democratic Party is to make sure that people who are Swedish living in Finland have, like, you know, their cultural identity preserved, and they have their language preserved and all these sorts of things. So Nils Torvalds is part of that there, and Nils Torvalds was running for the presidency of Finland. And that just came in. The results came in. That's right. That's right. The father of Linux was running for the top dog, the big kahuna, spot in Finland. How did he do? Well, he didn't make it. In fact, he came in 9th place. He got 1.2% of the vote, which still, that's impressive. It looks like or 1.5% of the vote. Sorry, 1.5% of the vote, with around 44,000 people voted for him. So, hey, congratulations to Mr. Torvalds' father for pulling in those numbers. That's still pretty awesome. I know you didn't win, but hey, you know what? Can't win them all, bucko. Anyway, I thought that was just kind of cool. That was just a random cool tidbit I felt like I had to share because I saw that. All right. One cool thing happened over the last little bit. In fact, this was just released a few moments ago officially. The Free Software Foundation just received a $1 million donation from the Pineapple Fund. I'm just going to read this here from the Free Software Foundation's website. The anonymous Pineapple Fund has donated $1 million worth of Bitcoin to promote and defend free software, computer user freedom, and digital rights. Boston, Massachusetts. That's where the Free Software Foundation is headquartered. On Tuesday, January 30th. That's today. The Free Software Foundation received a record-breaking charitable contribution of 91.45 Bitcoin, valued at $1 million at the time of donation. The gift is a testament to the importance of free software, computer user freedom, and digital rights when technology is interwoven with daily life. And here's a quote from Pine, the Pineapple Fund's founder, who is anonymous. Free software is more than open source. It is a movement that encourages community collaboration and protects users' freedom, wrote Pine. The Free Software Foundation does amazing work, and I'm certain the funds will be put to good use. So I wanted to look into that a little bit more, because I've seen a couple of donations come in from the Pineapple Fund also. And the Pineapple Fund is totally anonymous as far as I can tell. But basically, the person or people or whatever behind the Pineapple Fund just have so much money, assumedly just all in Bitcoin. So I'm assuming it's like an early Bitcoin person, that they've been contributing to a lot of projects like the EFF. They gave $1 million worth of Bitcoin. OpenBSD got $50,000. $1 million went to the Internet Archive. OpenStreetMaps got $250,000. The Free Software Freedom Conservancy got $250,000. The Apache Software Foundation got $1 million. I mean, this is a couple of Open Medicine Foundation got $1 million. I mean, this is some really interesting and valuable projects that have really benefited from this Pineapple Fund. I would be curious who did it, but I also like that it was totally anonymous. That just kind of makes it fancy somehow. But anyway, that came from the Pineapple Fund. So thanks, Pine of the Pineapple Fund. And if you're watching and would like to do an interview, we could do one with those little like blackout solo thing, and we can make your voice all deep and dark so you can maintain like your anonymity and you can be like super secret and spy-like. We could totally do that. So anyway, congratulations to the Free Software Foundation for getting $1 million to keep the lights on. Can't complain about that very much. All right, we need to talk about the mailing list. Something happened on Sunday. Something glorious happened. New version of the Linux kernel is out, version 4.15. And I'm going to read you what Linus, our esteemed leader, has posted about this release. A couple of outlets are going to be talking about this today and a little bit yesterday and probably the rest of the week. But none of them are just quoting what Linus says. They're putting things in their own words. I'm gonna quote actual Linus. Here's what Linus said directly. I'm gonna read you basically the whole darn thing because I feel like it's important, especially considering all the things that are going on right now. And before I do that, I'm gonna take a sip of Pepsi. Because I'm gonna need some beverage. I gotta wet my whistle before I get into this one. All right, here we go. After a release cycle that was unusual in so many, and in parentheses, bad ways, this last week was really quite pleasant. Okay, he didn't say quite. He just said really pleasant. I felt like it deserved a quite in there, though. Okay, quiet and small and no last-minute panics, just small fixes for various issues. I never got a feeling that I'd need to extend things by yet another week, and 4.15 looks fine to me. Half the changes in the last week were miscellaneous driver stuff, GPU, input, networking, with the other half being a mix of networking, core kernel, and architectural updates, mainly x86, but all of it is tiny. So at least we had one good week. This obviously was not a pleasant release cycle, with the whole Meltdown Spectre thing coming in the middle of the cycle and not really gelling with our normal release cycle. The extra 2 weeks were obviously mainly due to that whole timing issue. Also, it is worth pointing out that it is not like we're done with Spectre Meltdown. There is more work pending: ARM, Spectre v1, miscellaneous details, and perhaps equally importantly, to actually get the biggest fix for the indirect branch mitigations. You need not just the kernel updates. You need to have a compiler with support for the RetPoline indirect branch model. You can do this following line of code, basically run a cat on Spectre v2, and if you don't have a compiler that supports RetPoline mitigations, you'll get vulnerable, minimal generic ASM RetPoline, because only the assembly code, not the C code, will have the RetPoline mitigation, so keep that in mind. Anyway, while Spectre Meltdown has obviously been the big news this release cycle, it's worth noting that we obviously had all the normal updates going on too. And the work everywhere else didn't just magically stop, even if some developers have been distracted by CPU issues. In the big picture, 4.15 looks perfectly normal, with 2/3 of the full 4.15 patch being about drivers, and even the architectural updates are dominated by the ARM DTS diffs, not by CPU bug mitigation. So, the news cycle notwithstanding, the bulk of the 4.15 work is all the regular plodding, boring stuff. And I mean that in the best possible way. It may not be glamorous and get the headlines, but it's the bread and butter of kernel development, and is, in many ways, the really important stuff. Go forth and play with it. Things actually look pretty good despite everything. And obviously, this also means that the merge window for 4.16 is open. I already have a number of pull requests pending that will start merging tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a normal and entirely boring release cycle for 4.16, because boring is really good. Because boring really is good. There we go. I liked that. It was a breath of hope and optimism coming from Linus on the Linux kernel mailing list, where we've gotten so much angst and anarchy and frighteningness and turmoil over the last month and a half, 2 months. So that was really kind of nice to read. It was pleasant. It was totally pleasant. So thanks, Linus, for posting that. And congratulations to the kernel team on getting 4.15 out. Many of those patches have already found their ways into various distro releases, but my guess is you'll see the 4.15 update hitting your distro soon, if it has not already. So most excellent, most awesome. Most terribly awesome. Before I go too much further, when I was talking earlier about Linux Fest Northwest, I got in the mail the speaker gift. They have a little speaker gift. You know those little boards with straps on them that you tuck your gadgets and cables and whatnot into, little things. Well, that's upside down. They have a little one for Linux Fest Northwest. This is the speaker gift that they're going to be giving out. Here's a little sticker that, well, I'll probably stick on a laptop somewhere. But I wanted to point that out because, hey, it not only is it free to attend, but if you're speaking, you get a cool little random gift. You can't go wrong with that. This edition, this episode of the Lunduke Show is sponsored in part by System76. If you've been following on the last week, I'm trying to figure out what laptop I need. I need a new laptop this year. I know I do. Really, over the next couple of weeks, I need to buckle down and pick a new laptop, and I'm not sure what I want. I know it's going to be a System76 laptop. That much I've sorted out. I want it to be a laptop from a maker that is fully on board with just Linux all the way through and through. That's what they do, you know? Like, sure, there's other manufacturers that might put Linux on their laptops, but System 76, that's what they do. And that's part of the reason that I have them as a sponsor on the show, is that I like that they do Linux, and I want that on my next laptop. So I'm trying to decide between the Lemur, which is a kind of a lower end laptop, nice, portable one, good for going to conferences, doing presentations from, totally capable of everything I'm going to do, except the video production work. Well, now the video production work I do, it actually takes quite a bit of beefy power. And so in order to do that, I need something like the Oryx Pro, which allows you to put in much beefier, like a GTX 1070 GPU in there. Well, now I can definitely do my entire video production workflow on the road with that. But it is a much beefier machine. It's got a big old power brick. It's a big machine. But I can deck it out with, a nice 4K screen, an i7, a GTX 1060 or 1070. I'll probably go the 1070 route myself. Put in a nice little M.2 drive and then maybe a secondary drive as well. They say that you can configure it with up to about 9 terabytes of total storage space. I probably need about a terabyte for myself, but even then, the fact that I can put in multiple drives in there, including 2 M.2 drives, well, that's just really handy. Yeah. So I'm not sure what I'm going to get, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be the Oryx. I'm leaning towards the Oryx. I'm leaning to Oryx. Anyway, you can find out more over at System76.com and Lulzbot. The Lulzbot Mini 3D printer. I love this 3D printer, right? A viewer who is also a friend of mine who is one of the organizers up at Linux Fest Northwest sent this little bad boy in. That right there, oh yeah, that is a 3D printed Lulzbot Mini 3D printer. Look at that little guy. It even has the little the little Rocktopus. That's their little mascot on it. That little green guy you see in the picture up there, printed a super tiny. Look at that little guy. I don't even know if you can see that well. That's just gorgeous. That's just adorable. So now my Lulzbot Mini has a mini Lulzbot Mini to keep it company. Just kind of hang out back there, chill out, hang out with my main Lulzbot. Anyway, I thought that was just awesome. And if you want to pick up my books over at lunduke.com, like this one, Linux is Badass, which is just a fun little read of goofiness, which includes several dirty poems about Linux and a choose your own adventure about Linux. You can go to lunduke.com, click on the store in the top left. That'll be available in a couple of bookstores soon, as well as over on Amazon. But if you want me to get the most bang for the buck, in other words, you want me to actually make a profit off of it, buy it through my website, because then it goes to the printer directly and I get like a couple of dollars for it. If people buy it off of Amazon, I do earn something, but it's, I don't know, it's like $1, something like that. Anyway, and of course you can, while you're there, you can pick up shirts and all that. And I want to thank my sponsors. All of you are fantastic. I've got a couple more of my 32-bit level sponsors that I need to add to this list, but you're all just absolutely fantastic. All of you. All of you are amazing, amazing people, and I could not do this show without you. If you do not currently subscribe to the show, you're missing out if you're not subscribing over on Patreon, because you get your own Q&A episode, as well as a couple of cool things coming up soon. So I've got some shows coming up. Some of those shows will not be released for free publicly. Some of those shows are going to be getting an actual DVD release. Crazy, I know. Except for people who are Patreon supporters, also get the DRM-free digital downloads and all that good stuff. Just as a nice little, hey, here you go. Little way of saying thank you to all my Patreon supporters. And I just did a Q&A. I do a monthly Q&A. You can ask me whatever you want if you're a Patreon supporter, and you get a special video just for you guys every month. Whatever topics you want me to talk about. They gave me a whole crazy mountain of topics this month, and I answered every single one. A couple of them I didn't answer all that well. But most I did. Most of them I got okay. So you can find out more over at patreon.com/Brian Lunduke. Just go to lunduke.com. There's links and some stuff. All right. Tomorrow is the tech news. Thursday is Linux Thursday. Remember, if you have questions for me, go to Twitter, hashtag Linux Thursday, or over on Mastodon, that hashtag works too. And that's where I will pull all the questions from. And then Friday is the Lunduke Files again, which I'm really looking forward to. This week, we're doing presidents, big politicians, musicians, and the like, and major scientists on UFOs. Because why not? Because I can. All right, thank you everyone for hanging out with me. I do so appreciate it. I hope you all have a fantastic Linuxy day, and I will see you all tomorrow.